Hi, I'm Mike, an elementary school teacher with a consistent work schedule. My responsibilities during school hours are pretty predictable. I have designated times for various classes, including staff meetings on Tuesdays, which usually last until p.m. As a result, I always manage to get home by 7 o'clock in the evening. My beloved wife, Jenny, who is 31 years old, always looks exhausted on Tuesday evenings due to her intense workouts at the gym. Consequently, I often take it upon myself to cook dinner while she refreshes herself in the shower and does other household chores, like making the bed. However, our routine was disrupted when the school principal unexpectedly canceled the staff meeting for that day due to a sudden visit from the district inspector. Having regained some free time, I quickly returned to my classroom to finish grading papers and realized it was only 3:30 p.m. Taking advantage of the opportunity, I impulsively decided to go home earlier than scheduled to cook dinner and handle the remaining chores around the house before Jenny returned from the gym. Lately, she has been gradually distancing herself from me, and I hoped that a romantic candlelit dinner in a relaxed atmosphere, free from pressing household issues, would revive the closeness and passion we once shared. Our marriage has often been at the mercy of fate, usually related to financial problems. It became clear to me that she had become more detached, showing an increasing desire to control all aspects of our lives. This led to her becoming stubborn and entering into conflicts when things did not go according to her plans. Despite all these difficulties, I remained patient. I got home earlier than usual that day and parked the car in a remote garage strategically located far from the house. This had been done in the early years of our children's lives to ensure they had a restful sleep, as the noise of the car did not disturb them. Their sleep was invaluable not only for their health, but also for our sanity, giving us much-needed quiet time to recuperate while they napped. As I walked slowly towards our two-story house, I noticed Jenny's car parked outside. This was common during her training days, as she preferred to take the bus to the gym. Focusing on putting things in order, I quietly entered the house through the back door. As someone who knows how to fix things around the house, I was proud that all the door hinges and moving parts in our home were in excellent condition, working smoothly without any annoying sounds. The sounds of slamming doors or creaking hinges were what really bothered us. But when I entered the kitchen, my attention was immediately drawn to Jenny's purse, which was still on the table. I knew she would be very upset about this, as Jenny always tried to keep her purse handy wherever she was. This unexpected sight diverted my attention from the usual cleaning and forced me to be more attentive to the surrounding details. On the floor near the kitchen counter lay her sports clothes, consisting mainly of a tight-fitting jumpsuit and a large towel. At that moment, faint sounds came from our bedroom upstairs. Perhaps Jenny had suddenly fallen ill and was now upstairs, I naively assumed. I carefully climbed the carpeted stairs, the steps soft and thoughtful. Suddenly, I almost tripped over men's shoes blocking the way. These were not my shoes and did not match the long trousers and shirt that came with them. When I climbed the remaining stairs, a chaotic scene appeared before my eyes. Scattered underwear and socks lay mixed with Jenny's seductive lingerie, the kind meant for special occasions, like wedding anniversaries. I did not expect such a sight. In complete silence, conflicting emotions overwhelmed me as my rational mind clashed with the reality of my marriage, which had always been built on innocence, trust, and unshakable faith in the loyalty, love, and devotion of my wife. I froze in place, my body covered in perspiration. My blood pressure dropped sharply, and my heart skipped a beat. I had to sit down on the stairs to collect my thoughts. Distrust quickly turned into an unusual surge of anger. Normally characterized by a calm demeanor, especially as a teacher working with a class of 30 different children, that calmness left me. Suddenly, adrenaline surged through my veins, and I experienced a feeling of rage I had never encountered before, as if I had never been in a real fight, and these emotions were completely alien to me. Nevertheless, despite the influx of these incomprehensible sensations, I tried to keep my composure. With an anxious desire to learn more, I carefully climbed the stairs, each step quiet and cautious. The destination of my unhealthy curiosity turned out to be an unusual wardrobe from which you could access both the bedroom and the bathroom. Passing through the bathroom, I found myself at the threshold of a spacious dressing room, which smoothly transitioned into a bedroom. Peeking through the partially open door of the room, my gaze stopped at the bed. It was as if I had become an involuntary spectator of a chilling adult film, unable to take my eyes off it. When I listened, the air was filled with moans and groans of intense passion. Overwhelmed by the tension of the moment, I instinctively reached for my phone to capture the shocking scene. It was very important to document this as a tangible reminder that this was not some fictional nightmare, but an undeniable reality. Armed with this evidence, I had to talk to Jenny about the heartbreaking betrayal unfolding right before my eyes. My gaze was riveted to the sight. I could not tear myself away from the image of my wife, my lover, the companion of my whole life, the person I trusted unconditionally, the mother of our children, and a woman who, in her 40s, diligently maintained her physical shape by helping local charities and expressing her unwavering love for me. She seemed to have betrayed me in the most important way. Overcome by a sense of betrayal, I abruptly stopped recording and quietly descended the stairs. After leaving our house, I wandered aimlessly, not knowing where to go. In the end, I ended up in a distant park a few miles from our house. There, I washed my face, sat down on the grass, and began to watch the recording, turning off the sound so as not to disturb the children playing nearby. The destruction of my usual life and everything I had accepted as normal unfolded before my eyes, like a digitized reality on a phone screen. The destruction of our marriage shattered me. At that moment, tears streamed down my face, and I felt like a balloon drifting in the wind, tied only by a fragile thread, preventing me from disappearing into the boundless sky. Mary spoke fervently. I really believe in karma, and I have a feeling it will soon catch up to this despicable man. He deserves to be punished. Her voice almost trembled with intensity. He doesn't care about anyone's feelings or well-being, using people for his own satisfaction and then bragging about it to his friends. If you need my help in seeking retribution, just let me know. This scoundrel will have to face the consequences, and they won't be easy, she muttered resolutely. I stayed seated, lost in thought, pondering the situation. Mary's revelation brought me a strange sense of relief, as I realized my desire for revenge stemmed from my own bitterness over a failed marriage. This required careful consideration. How many other women at the gym had he been involved with? It was time to gather concrete evidence. Despite my disdain for him, I couldn't help but notice his stamina. He seemed tireless, like the devil himself. After finding out that he visited the gym every day except Mondays when it was closed, I remembered the phone number posted on the gym wall. Using the phone book, I tracked this number to an address just 3 blocks from our house. It explained why he could easily walk to our house and engage in an affair with my soon-to-be ex-wife. I informed Terry that I intended to take a walk every day around 5 p.m. Citing my specialist's recommendation, she had no desire to join me, knowing it wouldn't interfere with her secret meetings. On my first evening walk, I went to Bond's house and noticed he lived in a ground-floor apartment. When I saw he wasn't home, I settled nearby and waited. As expected, he arrived a few minutes before 6 p.m. And this pattern continued every day. My curiosity grew. Was he involved with another woman every day the gym was open? I decided to find out the truth. My daily walk started earlier and earlier, solely to observe his whereabouts and actions. Eventually, I took a whole week off work, dedicating it entirely to this investigation. Armed with the necessary tools, I discreetly purchased a long-range listening device and several HD cameras with voice and motion activation. I also bought an additional portable hard drive to store all the digital evidence. On Monday, I began installing one of the cameras in Bond's apartment. Fortunately, it was small, resembling a 2-room apartment with a spacious living room and kitchen or dining area. Setting up the camera to cover the entire space, except for the bedroom, wasn't difficult. I waited until he left for the gym, giving me the perfect opportunity to find his keys under the predictable hiding spot, the rug. How glitch, I thought, grinning at his lack of creativity. After ensuring the camera worked properly, I quickly left. From that moment on, every movement and sound in his apartment activated the camera and microphone, instantly transmitting the data to my computer. The footage was carefully preserved for later use. The system captured Bond returning home on Monday evening, and by Tuesday night, it showed him enjoying a takeaway meal in front of the TV. With the gym closed, I waited for the perfect moment to install another camera inside through the often unnoticed back door. I installed it in a secluded room at the back of the gym, where clients underwent individual health assessments, also often used by Bond for his intimate activities. Reflecting on my actions, I couldn't help but wonder what kind of person I had become, placing cameras in others' possessions and engaging in invasive espionage. What would this lead to? On Wednesday, I waited until Terry left for groceries and then installed 2 more cameras in our bedroom and living room. Reviewing the recordings from Tuesday, I was shocked by what I saw and heard. Although I couldn't fully understand the context, Bond had woken up immediately, left the house, and returned later with breakfast. It annoyed me that he couldn't even make his own breakfast. He stayed home until the gym opened, then left at 10:30. But during his stay, he made an intriguing phone call. "Julie, hi, it's Bond. Has he left yet?" "Of course. Then I'll see you at 12:30 at your house. Don't forget to wear the outfit I mentioned." "Don't worry, I'll be careful when I come to you." "Did you say he'd be gone for 3 days? Well, maybe I can come also on Thursday and Friday. Let's talk about it later my love." He ended the call with noticeable ease. I wondered how he would explain his actions to Terry. On Thursday, I went to the garage with my computer, waiting patiently for events to unfold. Bond's camera showed him waking up, going out for breakfast, and then calling Terry. The camera recorded both sides of the conversation. "Hi, this is Bond. How are you doing?" He spoke flirtatiously. Terry warned him not to talk like that on the phone, mentioning you never know who might be listening. She noted that I had already left for work, and they agreed to meet at the usual time, 12:30. Mary, a parent from school, had eagerly helped me compile a list of women Bond was involved with or had a relationship with, collecting names and addresses in just a week. To my horror, Terry's name was included in the list. By this time, I had almost completely detached myself from our house. I hesitated to call it home because it had lost all sentimental meaning now. It was just a house. Terry once mentioned it seemed unusually empty lately, and I casually explained I was actively getting rid of my junk. She accepted my answer, uninterested in her own junk, and appreciated the extra space. My things from the garage were moved to my new home to completely vacate the room. It only remained to quickly pack the remaining items and leave in my car. I had already sought advice from a divorce lawyer, and all necessary documents were prepared and ready for transfer at any time. Financial issues were resolved, and I transferred the entire amount spent on our vacation to my personal bank account. To be fully prepared, I kept all receipts for imaginary purchases in a neat folder, ensuring they could be easily found if necessary. I made significant changes to my financial arrangements, updating the beneficiaries of my superannuation fund to specify our children, withdrawing all available funds from the account, and separating my personal finances by setting up individual accounts, credit cards, and insurance policies. I transferred ownership of Terry's car, including registration and insurance, solely to her name, placing all responsibility on her. Unfortunately, I had no authority over the house, so I had to rely on the court's decisions regarding its fate. Additionally, I purchased a new mobile phone registered only in my name, ensuring its number was not listed anywhere to maintain confidentiality. I abandoned my old phone and put together a collection of gifts for every husband or partner associated with the women Mary mentioned. Each package contained information about places where Bond had intimate relations with their spouses, his personal details, and the address of a local health clinic. I also sent a detailed letter to the gym owner, advising him to have a serious talk with his chief instructor. Finally, I discreetly attached the divorce papers and several printed photos from CCTV cameras depicting Bond and Terry to the kitchen table. I left a bundle with DVDs of their intimate moments, an engagement ring brutally sawed in half and smeared with feces, and a note: "I am giving you this shattered ring symbolizing the destruction you've brought to our marriage. If you want to communicate, Do so only through the lawyer listed in our divorce papers. I've taken measures to prohibit you from entering school grounds, so refrain from trying to contact me there. Any disturbance will lead to police intervention. Our children have been informed of your infidelities to clarify the reason for our breakup and prevent false accusations. I've sent copies of the DVDs to relevant parties. I then moved to my new residence, anticipating the inevitable consequences. They indeed unfolded with great intensity. Surprisingly, local media reported a scandal at a nearby gym, leading to its closure and the owner's departure from the city. Another incident involved a former gym instructor found beaten by an unknown group of men. Divorce applications in the local court sharply increased, causing a wave of house sales. One fateful day, Terry returned home and was greeted with my parting gifts, causing her to faint. Terrified by her scream, neighbors saw Terry collapse to the floor. An observant elderly neighbor quickly understood the situation and called emergency services. Later, Terry tried to contact me but couldn't reach me on any available phones. Desperate, she attempted to visit our school but was detained by authorities. An overnight stay in jail and a strict warning significantly curtailed her attempts. Our children made it clear they disapproved of her actions, refusing to communicate with her. The divorce was finalized, and financial issues were resolved. Terry was forced to sell the house and rent an apartment on the city outskirts, where she lived in shame. Recognized and ridiculed everywhere she went, the overwhelming despair pushed her to seek treatment at a psychiatric clinic. It also emerged that Bond had infected many women, including Terry, with syphilis, plunging her into deep depression. Our children and I refused to communicate with her, and I continued to live in my small house, unable to forgive my cheating ex-wife. I often say that a quick way to heal from heartache is to start dating again as soon as possible. This theory was put to the test when my closest friend discovered that his fiancée had an affair with another man on their wedding day. That morning, I woke up expecting to fulfill my duties as the best man at my friend's wedding. Instead of spending the night with his new wife, my friend Sam and the rest of the groomsmen went to a bar, where he eventually left with the mysterious stranger. Not wanting to intrude, I left them alone and returned to the hotel. The next morning, my phone buzzed with urgent messages. I immediately sensed that something was wrong. After glancing at my phone, I saw a series of missed calls and texts from Sam, each more panicked than the last. I quickly threw on clothes and rushed to his hotel room, where I found Sam and a few groomsmen huddled in a corner, looking distressed. Sam spoke up. "You won't believe what happened last night. I got a call from my fiancée saying she couldn't find her sister. While I was trying to comfort her, I found my future father-in-law sobbing uncontrollably. The entire family was looking for the missing bridesmaid, hoping she would show up in time for the wedding. I was stunned and asked, 'What happened then?' Sam continued, 'As we searched, a hotel employee found her near the pool area, lifeless and alone.' The discovery shocked everyone, and the entire mood of the wedding shifted. We called off the ceremony immediately and tried to understand what had led to this tragedy. Later, we discovered a note left behind, suggesting she had felt deeply troubled, though the exact reasons remained unclear. The police were involved, and the investigation took a toll on everyone. I consoled Sam, and we gathered the remaining guests to inform them of the tragic news. The wedding was postponed indefinitely, and everyone left with a heavy heart. The ensuing weeks were incredibly tough, with Sam struggling to come to terms with the events. He decided to seek professional help, trying to rebuild his life step by step.